and welcome to Singer's Advice. My name is Sarah Brickel and I'm a singer, songwriter and vocal coach. For many years I've worked in different genres of the industry and I'm here to share with you the tips, techniques and advice that I've learned along the way. So let's get started with lesson 7, belt. So, belt is quite a controversial voice quality, but if done correctly, it can be fantastic, a fantastic sound, very exciting, very energetic sound. If done badly, yes, it can be damaging to your voice. So be very, very careful when you are using belt because we don't want to end up with nodules or anything horrible like that. So, let's first of all make sure that you warm up a lot. 25-30 minutes doing all the things that we've talked about before, those basic warm-ups, the advanced warm-ups, really making sure that you've worked your whole range and then you can move on to doing some belting exercises. But before we do that, I just want to have a little talk to you about what belt is, what we need to be using to create that sound. So the most important things we need to do when we're belting are retraction, which we talked about in constriction and retraction. We must make sure that the vocal folds, especially the false vocal folds, are completely retracted because we don't want them to constrict. If they do, we're going to break, we're going to crack, we're going to flip into different voice qualities. So first and foremost, think about really retracting that voice. We need to add the twanger, which we talked about in lesson 6. So really thinking about that nya sound, getting the twang in there. We also need to think about anchoring. Now I haven't talked about this yet, so I'm just going to go over briefly what I mean by anchoring. So in order to belt, we need to use some of our bigger muscles in order to create the sound. Because it's such a big sound, we can't really just be completely relaxed. So we need to think about anchoring using either our head, neck and back muscles. You cannot belt properly unless you are completely committed and completely involved in the sound with your whole entire body. So let's just think about head and neck anchoring first. To get the feeling of this, if you can just dilate your nostrils, so just kind of flaring them out like that, but try and sustain that feeling. And as if your ears are pulling back, really feel the sense of those muscles really start to work. Another way of getting this is to either put your hand behind your head, as if it's kind of a wall, push back against that wall, and you can kind of feel the muscles in your neck and your head just start to work like that. Or either this way, so pushing your head against your hand. And you can just feel them work. Now, don't get confused. This can be a little bit confusing because when you do these kind of things and this, you can start to feel a bit tense. Now, we're not tensing the muscles in terms of like constricting, we're tensing the muscles in order to use them effectively. So don't worry if you think, well, I'm really tight and I'm squeezing. We'll get around that. It just takes a little bit of practice. So then let's talk about back anchoring. Now a good way to do this is elbows up in the air. Imagine you've got either something under here, like 2 big melons or something like that, and you're going to squeeze down on them. So you can really feel those back muscles getting involved. So we're going to think about tilting our cricoid in order to create this sound that we want. Now the cricoid cartilage provides attachment for muscles that's involved in like the opening and closing of your airways. So if you think about doing a little squeak, as if you're going to squeak and go, you can kind of, even if you do that silently, you can feel it tilting. We need quick breath. We don't need a big massive breath of air. A lot of people think that in order to belt, you know, you're kind of standing there and it's like and you kind of blurt it out. That is not going to help. You're going to end up constricting. We don't want a lot of air passing through. We want to stop that. We want a quick short breath and then we're in with the energy of it. Then we need to think about raising the larynx. Now this is where the controversy comes in. A lot of people, a lot of singing techniques don't agree with raising the larynx up to produce sounds, but in order to belt properly you do need to do this with this. You're not going to damage yourself by doing this, it's just what you need to do. Okay, so imagine you're just about to swallow, that feeling of it kind of just coming up a little bit. So we're going to do a quick exercise which involves just getting the body involved and making sure that the way you go into belt is the right way, because if you go into it wrong it's going to sound awful and it's going to just be wrong and you're going to be like, I can't sing those notes, I can't do that. So we're just going to take a quick breath in, we're going to feel our muscles involved, so get those elbows up, and we're going to go, hey! Nice, short, quick out, yeah? Poof, commit to it. So we're going to go, hey, Mario! Don't ask me why we say hey Mario, that is what I learned. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're also going to try going, yeah! When we've done that a few times, we're going to then take it to here. Now I'm standing up for this one because you need to be stood up to belt. So let's just try a quick, so this is after you've warmed up quite a bit, okay? So if you've not warmed up yet, don't just dive into this. Turn me off for a second, warm yourself up and come back, okay? Okay, now you've had a good warm up, here we go. On a yeah sound, we're going to start at F above middle C, okay? We're not going to go too high, I'm not going to go crazy today, we're just going to go, and just on a yeah, we're just going to go, so thinking about, quick breath in, tilted cricoid, high larynx, so think about just about to swallow, that little squeak, committed, anchor, head and neck, or back, I prefer the back one. Let's do it. So we're going to go, yeah, 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 yeah. That is belting, okay? That is not using chest voice. A lot of people think it's in chest voice. It's not. It's a mixture of speech quality and twang mixed together. So if you can really hear it, that felt really nice. Yeah, I've had times in my career where I've not been belting properly. I've gone for notes, they've cracked, it's just a disaster, but it's because I haven't set it up properly. I've either driven the sound, so pushed a lot of air thinking that I've got to really force it out, or I've flipped into a different voice quality on purpose because I chickened out. So I'm going to take just a little section of The Greatest Love of All just to show you an example of belt in a song. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. So there we go, I hope that makes sense. I was belting that, I was trying to keep retracted, I was anchoring, focusing on keeping that larynx up in the air, just really thinking about all those things, that little concoction. It's like making a cake. If all the things are right, it's going to taste great, it's going to sound great, okay? So just keep trying, keep at it, and you will get it. I hope that's been helpful. Belt can be a little bit confusing at first, so if you do have any more questions, feel free to email me, sarah@singersadvice.com. Well, thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you next time on Singer's Advice.